So the Premier League is about to welcome Newcastle United, Brighton and Huddersfield Town this season, with the latter two certainly unknown quantities. However, let's take a look at a starting 11 of players who excelled in the Championship but could never quite make that step up to the Premier League. Stephen Bywater. Stephen Bywater is a man with a big mouth. During Derby County's 07-08 season, he infamously claimed that the national side selection of goalkeepers was nothing special, that he would be in contention soon enough, and that he, along with his Derby teammates, would be laughing at critics come the end of the season. Well, the only people who were laughing was everybody who watched the Rams splutter to one win in 38 Premier League games. He had impressed during promotion winning spells at West Ham and then Derby, but by the midway point of the 07-08 season, the man was finally put out of his misery and shipped off to Ipswich Town on loan after conceding just the 46 goals. The Burton Albion benchwarmer has not been seen in the Premier League since, and no, he's obviously never played for his country. Chris Gunter, the best man at Aaron Ramsey's wedding. I don't know why that's relevant. Chris Gunter began his career at Cardiff City, impressing during his 28 Championship games before being snapped up by Tottenham in January 2008. He spent the next 18 months sitting on his hands in North London, making just 5 appearances before dropping back down a level with Nottingham Forest. He was given one more chance at the top flight in 2012 when Reading snapped him up. He played 20 games and they were relegated without so much as a whimper. Just be thankful the Welsh national team aren't in the business of producing top right backs at the moment, Chris. Mathieu Kilgallen. Leeds United have a history of producing some top talent. Sorry Mathieu Kilgallen, but you are not one of them. It looked for all the world that he would be when he broke through during the 04-05 season at the age of 20. He earned a move to the Premier League's Sheffield United midway through the 06-07 season, but found it difficult to force his way into Neil Warnock's side, making just 6 league appearances. He did go on to play over 100 times for the Blades over the next 3 seasons in the Championship, before getting another crack at the top flight with Sunderland. 23 appearances across 2.5 campaigns. How do you think it went for him? Darren Moore. Some players just aren't Premier League quality. They just aren't. While personal problems got the better of the likes of Roger Johnson, Darren Moore was simply a victim of his own limited abilities. The man was part of 4 promotion winning sides during his career, at Bradford City, West Brom on 2 occasions and Derby County. He featured in the PFA Championship Team of the Year on multiple occasions. However, he was never given a chance to play in the top flight with Bradford, was sold midway through the Baggies 05-06 campaign, and was eventually part of the farcical Rams side that were relegated with 11 points. George Friend. Last season was a frustrating campaign for Middlesbrough. For long periods, they looked like a well-oiled unit at the back, with Aitor Karanka looking like he might eke them over the line to safety. And then everybody realised that they weren't scoring goals, the manager was sacked, the confidence collapsed, and they were relegated after just 1 season. George Friend had been a virtual ever-present since moving to Middlesbrough 5 years earlier, but last season was decimated not only by injuries, but by lapses of concentration at left back. Giles Barnes. It's crazy to think that Giles Barnes is still only 28, considering the promise and potential he showed, which seems like decades ago now. Having broke through at Derby County midway through the last decade as a sprightly teenager, the winger scored 8 goals in 39 league games as the club secured promotion. In hindsight, they'd have been better off staying put. His form and confidence suffered the following season, scoring once in 21 outings as his side were battered every week. Injuries robbed him of the next 2 years of his career, before he signed for Championship side West Brom in February 2010. 18 months later, he was released after 14 unspectacular and goalless top flight outings for the Baggies. He spent the last 5 years of his career in the MLS trying to forget that the Premier League ever happened. Peter Winningham. Okay, so technically Peter Winningham did begin his career in the Premier League and actually played 56 top flight games for Aston Villa. However, the man was a kid winger back then, often used from the bench, and it wasn't until he dropped down to Cardiff City in 2006 that he was allowed to flourish. He spent over a decade in Wales, making over 400 appearances for the club, and being named in the Championship Team of the Year on 3 occasions. It wasn't until the 13-14 season where he started to get heckled and booed by his own support. Is it a coincidence that this was the only campaign where he and Cardiff found themselves together in the Premier League? He made 32 appearances that season, and like the rest of his teammates, struggled for consistency as they were relegated. Craig Bellamy did not take kindly to his teammate getting slaughtered. Adel Taarabt. Mario Balotelli was recently slammed for having wasted great opportunities. The ironic thing is that it was Adel Taarabt who was criticising him. The Moroccan looked destined to become a world beater when he scored 19 goals during QPR's promotion winning campaign during the 10-11 season. Sadly, he was about as much use as a damp towel over the next few seasons, scoring 7 goals in 58 league games, failing to understand that a side fighting for their lives actually need players to track back and fight for the ball during games. He was booted out to Fulham on loan during the 13-14 season, He lasted 12 games before being shown the door in January. At 28 years of age, he's currently fighting a losing battle with his career at Benfica. Gary McSheffrey. Big things were expected of Gary McSheffrey midway through the 2000s, having scored 37 goals from the left wing position across 3 seasons for both Coventry and Birmingham City. The 25-year-old waved goodbye to the goals in the top flight, netting 3 in 32 games as the club plummeted straight back into the Championship after the first attempt. He returned once more during the 09-10 campaign, but made just one start before being allowed to leave for Leeds United on loan in January. Nathan Ellington. If there was ever a turning point in Nathan Ellington's career, it was 16th of August 2005 when he decided to chuck away Wigan Athletic for West Brom. The 24-year-old had scored 43 goals across the previous 2 seasons for the Latics and had just been named in the Championship Team of the Year. He sank like a stone at the Hawthorns, scoring 5 times in 31 games as the club propped up the rest of the table. His former teammates, on the other hand, finished in the top half and reached the League Cup final. Not only has he never played a top flight game since, but his form nosedived completely and he seemed to forget how to even score in the division he was once so prolific in. Careers are often defined by choices, and who knows, if he had just shown loyalty to the Latics, he might not have ended up in Greece at the age of 29. Marlon King. So where do we start with Marlon King? The good news is that the man scored 21 goals for Watford during the 05-06 season as they achieved promotion from the Championship. The bad news is that not only can he not cut it in the Premier League, but, well, let's just say I hope he doesn't watch this video and find out where I live. The man has convictions for 14 offences, including theft, drink driving, and 2 cases of assaulting young women. So he's seemingly not going to win Mr. Personality of Britain either. Injuries disrupted his debut Premier League campaign before signing for Wigan in January 2008. He was sacked in October 2009 after he was found guilty of groping and punching a female student in the face, breaking her nose. The severance of his contract was made slightly easier by the fact that he had only scored once for the Latics and just 7 in 33 games while on loan at Hull City and Middlesbrough. He hasn't played in the top flight since that season, but he has been arrested again, being sentenced to 18 months behind bars in May 2014 following a car crash, so at least he's found something he's good at. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also check out HITC 7s.